Good morning, everyone. Thanks for stopping into the shop for today's video. Well, in shooting an earlier video replacing the coolant on my 2014 Silverado, discovered I've got a little bit of an oil leak. I've thought there's been something going on for a little bit because every 1,500, 2,000 miles, I've got to add about a quart of oil. Well, when I was under there draining the antifreeze, I got to looking at the pan. The pan was wet, looking up a little further, and at first I thought, ah, crap, rear main seal, just where it was leaking. But it looks like it's leaked all the way from the top of the engine, or almost the top, I should say. So I'm gonna show you where I think my oil leak is and the part needed to replace it. Let's get started. Very first thing we need to do is pop the hood so I can show you exactly where I believe the oil's leaking. And so A, you can identify if your oil's leaking from here, and then B, we can fix it together if that is in fact what it is. Overall, fairly cheap part. First thing we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to remove the box off of the intake. To do that, all you need is a flathead screwdriver. So I'm gonna take this. And once you climb into the engine bay, you're gonna undo this screw just enough to get the box off of here. That's probably plenty. So I'm just gonna pull and wiggle it. Yours might be stuck a little bit. We're gonna pull the, oh wait. Before we pull that off, I forgot we have two little tubes coming. This one has a clip on the bottom. You just push up and pull out, and then it just rotates at a 90 there. Same with this one, except you push down from the top and pull back. That removes it, and then you should be able to take this off. You're gonna see I'm just gonna wiggle it back and forth until it comes off. And then you don't need to do anything down here. I've found I can just lift it up and catch it right in here of the hood. And you're gonna see, what you're gonna see is kind of down under the intake here. There is, right in here, what I believe to be my leak. Let's get a little light on the subject so we can see easier. Oh, one of my favorite lights that I have is this little Milwaukee M12 stick light. What I like about it is it lights everything up really well. You can also take the hook off the top, hang it up here, and you've got a nice work light for down in your engine bay. But back to the truck. Yes, what I believe to be leaking is this component right here. What I did is I cleaned it up fairly decent with some engine degreaser and whatnot. And look at that. You can still see, even after cleaning it up with engine degreaser, see how that looks wet down there? In fact, if I take my finger and wipe it, look at that. You can see some oil and crud there. So I think this part right here is my issue, the gasket that's inside there. From what I understand, this is some sort of camshaft sensor. I don't know if it tells it where it is or what, but I've got the part number here for you guys. It's only about $10. Got to me Amazon one day. OEM AC Delco, so you can't beat that. But let's replace that together. First things first, looks like we've got an electrical plug that needs disconnecting. I'm going to set you guys down and figure out how to unplug that. Well, folks, I cannot determine how to get that connector off down there. So what we're going to do is we're just going to forego that for now. And if I figure out how to get it off, I'll let you know. But what you're going to see is there are three Torx bolts that we need to take out to get that gasket out of there. So let me go to the toolbox and see what size it is. Okay, back over to the toolbox. We'll figure out what size it is. I'm going to take all these bits because I'm not good at telling torques just right off the bat. And we'll take my swivel head. Oh, do we need an extension or not? Knowing me, probably. We'll take this extension. This is the part where it gets a little tricky trying to film with you guys on there. So let me hop up in there, see what we're dealing with. Ugh. I'm gonna try this T30 first. I think T30 is it. I don't normally get it on the first try, but Sometimes you get lucky. Let's put the extension on. See if I can get that light in there somewhere to hold. Let's see if I can undo those 3 Torx head bolts. Got one. So far this is easy, it's just inconvenient where it's located. Careful not to drop these. So there's one, and you definitely need a Torx bit to do that. T30. So number 2 and number 3. So that should just pull directly out now. That made the connector easier to come out. Oh, so this is our piece. That made the connector easier to come out. I just pushed down on the top there. I couldn't see it down there. But this is the piece in question that I feel maybe causing our oil leakage. I don't know that for certain, but I feel this is it. So I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to clean this up as well as the inside of my engine bay with a little carb cleaner, just because I want to know I've got everything cleaned up and I'm not putting anything nasty back into the engine. I'm ready to take a break from that nasty old engine bay. This is our part that I'm worried about, specifically this right here. I don't know if it's bi-directional or not, but ooh, that does feel somewhat tired and brittle. Let's get the new one out after I clean my hands up, of course. So I will leave an affiliate link below. Keep in mind, if you use that link, it does help support the channel monetarily, so that is appreciated. So if you find this video helpful, help me out too. This is the GM genuine part number. With stuff like this, it's 2 things. It's nice to see that it's made here in the USA, and also it's OEM, so you know you're getting something that's of good quality. It's not going to be junk, something that no name brand that you don't know about. So I do like and appreciate that. And boy, this does feel much more pliable and good, where this one's starting to feel like it's turning into plastic and getting brittle. I bet if we didn't have a leak there, this at least need to be replaced. Doesn't appear to matter which side you put it on. Look, it is getting thin there. Can you see that, guys? How it's getting thin on this side? I think we did probably have a leak there. We've got some AMSOIL engine degreaser I'm going to hit this with. Somewhat for 2 purposes here. I like to clean things up if I'm going to put them back in, but also if I clean this up, I'm going to have a better chance of seeing if it's leaking there. The problem with oil leaks in engines is that if you let it go too far, kind of like what I did, then it's hard to clean up, A, but then B, in addition to that, it's hard to see where the leak is. This doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. Just a little something. Help get some of that caked junk off there. I'm going to get a brush and scrub at that a little bit. Just a little nylon brush. Try to break some of this crud up. See how well that stuff works? Should really be wearing gloves doing this. That oil is not good for your skin or to absorb into your body. So do better than I. Wear some gloves if you're going to do this. See, this isn't perfect, but it's better than what we were dealing with. Make sure you get all that degreaser off there. I don't want any of that going back. Just gonna get me a clean rag and give this one more quick wipe down. Then what I think I'll do is I'm gonna hop in the engine bay and I'm gonna clean up around where this mate's on there. Let's make sure we got the new one. I do feel pretty confident, guys. Look how weak that was getting on that side. But it looks like it just sits on there, and you're gonna see there's a little lip, a little groove on the actual engine itself where this sits into, so you could actually probably put that in there and then put this on. But we'll look at that together before I place it back together. Well, I've got this somewhat cleaned up. Take you guys for a walk down in there. See the connector? It's still pretty dirty on this right side, but it's clean below it enough to where whenever I put this back in, if it still leaks, we're gonna know. In addition to that, do you see the groove I'm talking about in there where you can set the gasket in? Looks to me that it lives in there just like that. Might not hurt to take a little bit of oil and rub it on that gasket just to keep it nice and malleable. Pretty simple, huh? So I have that gasket installed. Now just make sure that the sensor's to the top left. Line your 3 Torx bolts up. I'm sure there's a torque spec for this, guys. I don't have that. If you do, leave it in a comment down below. I'm just going to install this right back where it goes. All right. Let's make sure to plug your connector in. Get all 3 of those tightened. Then I've just sprayed a little more of my engine degreaser because I want that to dry up. That way I can monitor this and make sure that's where my oil leak was. But once we come back out, all we need to do is drop our air box back in place. Put it back over the intake there. Clip our connectors on each side, and we're good. Well, no job's complete until you clean up your tools. What I like to do after every job is to take all my tools that I used and clean them up. I find, you can use whatever you want. I find this ballast stool works really well. What I do is I just take an old rag, in this case an old white cotton shirt, and I spray my tools down. Let me separate them all out first. Except for maybe this nylon brush. It might actually get cleaned up another way because it's got that degreaser on it. I shake this ballast up and I give my tools just a quick coating. And even a rag if you got a clean one. And what I'll do is I'll keep this rag with this ballast on there. Just keep it in an old mason jar. That way every time I'm done, I clean my tools up. So if you want to, you can end the video here because your job's done. If you want to stay and chat while I clean these up, you are more than welcome to. So after every job, I like to clean my tools up because I want to enjoy them and I want them to last me a lifetime. I don't want to have to... It's funny to me. It seems like if you spend the time to take care of your tools, they'll take care of you. I think there's a saying about that. But if I take some pride in the stuff I own, even the truck, that's why we're fixing it, then I want to keep it longer and I'll get to enjoy it longer and it'll serve me well for years to come. So that's why I like to take my tools and clean them up afterwards. And even just little stuff like that oil leak. I think it's important to address those sort of things, especially early on if you can. Think about it this way. If I had to add even just one more quart of oil to that truck, that'd have been the same cost as replacing that gasket. And now, hopefully I don't have to worry about adding oil. I don't have to worry about oil getting on there and dirt and everything, taking up my engine bay, making a bigger mess than what's already there. And now that I've taken the time to address that and clean that, I can keep an eye on it and see if it's still leaking. So to me, it's a good thing. Take care of those things early and often. Regular routine maintenance is important, whether you realize it or not. I would like to keep that truck for quite some time. I've enjoyed it the entire time. I mean, heck, that's what got my channel off the ground. So it's treated me good. I need to treat it good. So the tools are all cleaned up now. What I can do is take my handy rag here, put it in my mason jar with that ballast all on there. That way I'm not wasting it and I can come back another time whenever I need to clean up for the next project. Let's go put these tools up. Don't mind all the water jugs. That's from when I changed my antifreeze. Having a toolbox is handy too. That way you can keep all of your stuff in order and where it needs to be. I've found since I have an organized toolbox, I can go right to it and I know where everything is, and it makes working more enjoyable, and more efficient. Have you ever had to dig through a nasty toolbox and can't find your tools and it frustrates you? I've lived it. All right, that's everything for the tools. Once again, coming back over here, I just wish you guys could feel this. The other one actually felt like rubber. This one just feels like hard plastic. I mean, even just watch whenever I drop it. Hear that noise? It's not soft, not quiet. This I feel like had to be at least part of our issue. So now that that's out, I'll monitor the truck, see if we have any changes. Folks, that's pretty much a wrap right there. That's all we needed to do. It was an easy, quick video. I've set my stuff down and I don't remember where I put it. Oh, right here. That's why everything needs its place. But you saw how easy that was. There's no telling what a shop would charge you to do that. And something else I'd mentioned, or something else that I'd failed to mention there, I actually didn't have any Torx bits whenever I started this job. I had to go buy them. I've kind of got a two-tier philosophy with tools. I hunt on eBay for really high quality used tools that are in good condition, and I'll save those searches and just continually look. And when one comes up for what I feel is the right price, then I buy it, scoop it in and buy it. And there are going to be times where on this job, I actually didn't have a T30 Torx bit. So I knew I was going to need some eventually for some job, but I just didn't want to buy them just because. So in particular cases like that, think about it like this. Had you taken your truck to a shop, what would this cost you? $100, $200 to do? It cost me $10 for the gasket shipped to my house. And then I bought those Torx socket bits. They were Snap-on for about $50 on eBay used. They're great condition. And the nice thing is I have those Torx bits for the rest of my life now. So any other jobs in the future, it's virtually free because I've already bought it for this job. I'm only $60 into this job. I get to keep a really nice high quality Torx socket set. And I've fixed the issue with OEM good quality parts. I've done the repair and I know it's done right and done well. I'm not saying this for all shops because there are certainly shops that do a good job and pay attention to detail, but it's just like anything else. Do you think anybody's going to care about your stuff the way you do, or are you just another number they're trying to crunch through there? Once again, I'm not saying that. That's just a blanket statement. I'm also not saying every shop is like that, but you own it. Take the time to take care of it and it'll take care of you. Guys, if you like this video, be sure to leave a thumbs up. Share with friends that may have an oil leak. This is apparently a fairly common spot on these 2014 to 2018 Silverados, and it's easy to get to. It's a really easy job. If I wouldn't have been filming, I could have had this knocked out in 10 minutes, no problem. 15 minutes if you count the good job cleaning. All right, guys, until the next video, take care.